Hey everyone, today I'm creating some cards using the May 2024 SheetLoad of Cards template. This is from Call Me Crafty Al, and there will be a link below on how you can get access to the template, as well as a link to a playlist that has all of the amazing creations from the different collaboration team members. Today I'm using these slimline dies from scrapbook.com. They are decorative dies that emboss. And because I am using a design that has a 1/4 inch strip, I'm going to pick the 1/4 inch strips out of both of these two sets. And I'll put them below. One of them's a Christmas set and the other I think is just decorative set, maybe number two, maybe, I'm not sure. But I will put them below either way. Now, what I'm doing here is grabbing 3 from each and I'm going to tape them together so that when I run them through my die cutting machine, I just get lots of strips in one go without having to really think about it too much. So this is a really good time-saving tip. And you can see I've already done that with some of the 1/2 inch strips in the pack on the left-hand side. And I've left them all taped together. And here I put them all back in the packet, all mixed up. But because I store them together, it doesn't really matter if they're mixed up. I'm now moving on to cutting up my amazing paper that I have here from Paper Rose. So this is called Ocean Dance and it is absolutely gorgeous. I did not pick this paper myself. It actually came in a pack that I got at the November sales last year. That was a mystery box full of lots of different pattern papers. So I sorted through that pack to find myself I think I used 4 or 5 pieces of pattern paper today. And this collection absolutely spoke to me. It is still available. I'll link it to scrapbook.com as well as those decorative dies. These came up amazing. I'm so impressed. How I ended up with this color combination is I really didn't want to do a dark color for the 1/4 inch strips that are a key part of this layout. I wanted to use white. And I challenged myself to use up a whole ton of scraps. And so there's loads of them on the left-hand side. I think I only used maybe half of them for this project, and I created 21 cards today. I cut out 5 1/4 by 4 inch backing panels, and then you just saw me running through all the other pieces and cutting out just anything that was interesting that was the right size. So I chopped down loads of these with the gorgeous pattern paper, and with some of them, when I turned them over, the piece that was on the other side, because they're all double-sided 12 by 12 sheets, I actually preferred over what I had intended to cut out. So you'll see a few of these where I'm looking through, then I realized there was this gorgeous paper on the back with all of these different creatures from the sea, and some of them I decided to keep. Once I lined all the colors up together, I put them in a nice neat pile so I'd know which one would go on top. And then I created myself this little, jig. Basically, I cut out a piece of heavy cardstock and I made sure that I made it the dimensions that were needed so that I could just slot the front panel into it and have it attached to the front of the card without needing to line it up. So it's 5 1/4 long, and then I made the cut on the right-hand side come down the inch at the top and then the 3 1/4 inch of the card, and then the bottom is an inch also. So this is essentially 5 1/4 and then 1/4 down the bottom. And I just ran through and it is how I centered every single one of those little rectangles. Now, because I wasn't sure what the white was going to look like, I created a sample card. And I did this with the one here that I did a bit of an experiment where there was a sentiment and I chopped it up and I put it right in the middle of the rectangle just to see how this would look as part of a card and whether it was a design that I would use moving forward. I like how it looks, but I do think the sentiment is maybe a little too big for the space. So if I was going to reuse this design down the track and I wanted to just put a big, bold, maybe a stamp sentiment in the middle, I would actually make sure that it was a little smaller than this because there's just not a lot of space around the edges. And so it just looks a little bit cramped. Once it's on the white card base though, you can see that the white border of a 1/4 inch around the edge and then the 1/4 inch white strips really make this look like a really cool card. It's just not overwhelming and heavy. If you use a lot of black and bold and dark colors, often you can end up with quite a heavy looking card, which is still a cool look. But for this one, I was going for a bit of a softer look with the white. So here we go with my little L-shape template that I created. I could have put this into my MISTI and then not had to hold it so carefully on such slippery paper. But sometimes it's nice just to do things without using all of the tools that you have, and just creating this really quickly on my trimmer was nice and easy. And then because this paper slides and is quite thick, it was nice and easy just to line it up in that corner. So I ran through and did all of these in bulk as a big next step, so that they were ready for me to add all the white strips around the edge, I guess. If you're enjoying the video, it would be amazing if you could hit the like button. That is how YouTube decides that it's a video worth sharing, and they will spread it to more viewers, and in particular to new viewers of my channel. So thank you so much in advance for those who have done that. I'm now preparing these little white strips, and it was a little tricky to figure out how to do it and how to chop them down, but I decided to pull off all the little white strips that were in between, because remember I lined up all those dies together. And then I just grabbed them in piles, and I figured out, because I need one part longer than the other, if I cut it at about 4.5 inches, then I got enough to go the long piece along the vertical of the card on the right, and then the other piece slightly shorter along the horizontal. And then there was enough left on each edge that I had to trim them all down, but I was never short. So instead of chopping it in the middle, where I think I would have had a bit of a problem, I just offset it a little bit, and this worked out perfectly. So it was a little fiddly, but it was so super cool creating these little strips and having that embossed indent on them. The ones that I picked had 2 different stitching designs, like a straight stitch and then I think like a cross stitch pattern. I had another one that had stars, another one that had diamonds, another one that had flowers, and I don't think I can remember the 6th one. Maybe it was candy cane. So it doesn't look like a candy cane, but it has those stripes of a candy cane because it was from the Christmas collection. And I just had to make sure that on each card I used 4 pieces that were from that same embossed. Like I didn't mix up the stars and the flowers and the different stitching. So they all look really consistent on the cards themselves. So this was super easy. I just grabbed 2 of each. It took 2 strips of the die cuts. And then I just put the glue on all 4 in one go. And then because this paper has a bit of weight to it, I just put it around the edge of the 3¼ by 2 inch rectangle. So remember to line it up to the edge of the square, and then you just build it out in a circle. And it's really, really quick to do. I did mess this up when I did a previous card challenge that had a similar style of card in another video. So I learned my lesson, and I knew when I did this video that you need to line it up to the edge of the paper, not to the edge of the card. Now I'm moving on to adding sentiments. This paper is so gorgeous that for quite a few of these, I decided not to include a sentiment at all. It's super unusual for me to make that choice, but for that one there that had the gorgeous coral, there was nowhere to put a sentiment that wasn't going to really hide a key part of the design. So for me, it's a gorgeous card as it is, and it doesn't need a sentiment, so I chose to go with that one. For the rest of these though, most of them are thank you cards. I just went through my stash and tried to pick out something that was about the right size per the card sketch that would just drop into that right hand side, and that layered up die thanks worked really well. And then these little thank yous were from a previous paper pack where I didn't use all of the sentiments, but I took the time to chop them up and throw them in my little spares tub. And now they've worked out absolutely beautifully for these cards. So I definitely seem to find that my leftovers find their way onto a really nice card in the end, most of the time. So for most of these ones with the medium color blue, I did not add a sentiment, but for these ones here, where they've got the circles and just the plain blue, all of these I made sure that I added a sentiment, because really there's not enough interest on the card for it to be just how it is at the moment. So a big sentiment in the middle for the 2 with the sky background, and then just some small happy birthdays for the rest of these. I am going to put a link here to some videos I think you might enjoy. Have a great day.